Welcome to the show. I'm Jason McIntyre. Coming up, we'll tell you if we've been comparing LeBron to the wrong NBA legend this whole time, and if the defending Super Bowl champs can overcome a mountain of distractions this offseason. Speak for Yourself starts now.
That's so much
Yeah,
better.
you like that?
Give me
yeah.
some.
All right.
I'm surprised.
Started.
I'm surprised
Hello?
he did the high five. Right?
And welcome. Hey, come on,
corny. I'm
Broussard.
sorry.
You didn't do the dice roll.
Cowherd and Whitlock are off today. I'm joined by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard, a couple of NBA champs, Caron Butler, Steven Jackson. Let's start in Cleveland, where tonight the Cavs look to salvage whatever slim hope they had of winning a title, or at the very least try to avoid getting swept. Of course, their Game 1 disaster left LeBron devastated and got a lot of people thinking there's no way he stays with the Cavs after this series. Even still, LeBron tried to put a brave face on yesterday.
I know it feels like we're down 2-0, and I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way, the mood that I'm in right now. I personally don't feel good today of the deficit that we have, not about tomorrow. I feel great about our opportunity.
All right, Broussard, will tonight's game have any impact on LeBron's future?
No. I mean, I don't think they're winning this series. So if you lose in 4 or 5, what's the difference? You lose in 6. I think if LeBron James is looking at his future and saying, I got to win more championships. I'm chasing that ghost in Chicago, as he said. He wants to be the GOAT. He's got to win. And you can't, even if he wants to stay in Cleveland, if winning is your number one priority, I just think you have to leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You win, you got to leave. Whether he win or not, it really don't make a difference because we talked about that with his legacy, winning or losing. It don't hurt his legacy. Obviously, this guy gonna play 6, 7 more years, possibly the way he look. So
6 or 7.
Yes, the way he looks. Yeah. To scoring 51 in the finals at this point in your career, you got years left. Yeah, you got years left at that level. So nothing will hurt his legacy. I just think that he needs to go somewhere where he can get more championships because I think he deserves it.
I think at the end of the day, he's going to be remembered as a guy that left the Miami Heat, went back to Cleveland, and one of the best stories in all of basketball, in all of sports, period. You know, bringing a championship back to Cleveland, the first one, it's just amazing. So I think that's what he's going to be remembered as, and it's not going to hurt his legacy.
Yeah, I just come out, guys, I see if they lose this game, I mean, the whole, like you said, LeBron came back to Cleveland. Everybody was excited. They come back and win that title. They fall down 3-0 tonight. All anybody's talking about is, well, we lost LeBron. No chance he's staying. And then you look at that roster, guys. Jordan Clarkson, 2 more years. J.R. Smith, 2 more years. Tristan Thompson, they can't go anywhere. Like, for me, they lose this game, it's over. There's no chance LeBron's staying in Cleveland if they
What
lose
if they
tonight.
win this game?
Well, if they win, that
lose in
changes
5
things.
or 6, how's it change?
Well, that's why tonight's game's important. I mean, LeBron said yesterday, I've carried these guys a lot already in this series. You go into game 3, hey, Jordan Clarkson, you going to make a shot? Hey, J.R. Smith, can you deliver somewhere, offensively, defensively, anything? Prove to me, guys, that I want to stay in Cleveland. I love it here. This is my town. I want to stay here. I don't want to go anywhere. But I haven't seen anything from you guys against the Warriors.
My thing is just one game, one win in this series isn't going to do it. Now, if you want to say if he wins the series, would he stay?
Chris,
or even goes a tough 7, I even think if they won this series and LeBron still wanted to win more championships, I think he'd still have to sit down and say, we did that with some smoke and mirrors.
Well,
Can we consistently win?
If they win it with this team, I think he'll sit back and say, well, if I stay, we still need to get better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Then that's
You
what
still
that's.
got it.
Yeah.
Again, up 2-0, the Warriors are. If they go up 3-0, you're looking at getting swept.
You're not looking.
As good
you
as
are getting
okay,
swept.
As good, okay.
It's happening.
As good as LeBron's been, how embarrassing would that be for the Cavs to get swept at home when LeBron's at the peak?
You
of
said
the
it.
superpower?
You said it. How embarrassing is for the Cavs, not LeBron.
Ah, yes.
If he's putting
You
up
said
big
it.
numbers, it's not going to be embarrassing.
At Buffalo Wild Wings, we'll admit that we often go overboard with our limited time offerings. We just can't help ourselves. Take our new signature sampler. For $15, you get wings and 3 shareable options like fried pickles or cheese curds. Then there's our aptly named over-the-top nachos, a literal mountain of crispy tortilla chips loaded with your choice of pulled pork or honey barbecue grilled chicken, corn, jalapenos, and more. Then top it all off with our new platinum margarita. Go overboard with us today at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Available for a limited time while supplies last. Please drink responsibly.
All
All right, moving on to a team that's actually got it worse than the Cavs right now. The 76ers, whose ownership reportedly spent several hours today trying to decide if they should fire GM Bryan "Burner" Colangelo.
Oh, man.
After reports surfaced last week that he or his wife had used fake Twitter accounts to attack Sixers players and divulge confidential team information. Steven, should the Sixers move on from your guy, Colangelo?
Are we talking about Bryan Colangelo? Or are we talking about Meek Mills? I don't know. I don't know. Is Bryan Colangelo black all of a sudden? He's getting accused for something, and they don't even know if he did it or not. Like, come on, man. We talking about the Colangelo family, right? We talking about dad running USA basketball for forever. We talking about their name in basketball is highly respected. How can you pick a guy like this who you brought in to change your organization around? The reason why you having some winning, you winning now, and your players are playing better, he has a lot to do with that. Why would you all of a sudden just blame him for something and you don't have the proof? And this facts that they don't have proof of who did it. Now, just say Brett Brown. Something comes out about Brett Brown next week, and it's a rumor. Are you gonna fire him?
But this
Right.
is more than a rumor, though.
But do they have facts that say he did it?
They don't
He
have it
admitted
totally
to one
locked
burner
down.
account.
But do they have
to
facts
one-
that he did it? No.
But that
Right.
what if they're saying right now it looks like his wife?
Right.
And that's pretty close. And I just think with the trust in an organization with players, if they feel like if that trust is broken, then it's going to be hard to get it back. And that's why I think even if it's his wife, he might have to go. Look, real quickly, I'll say this. You brought it up. Jerry Colangelo, one of the most powerful guys in the NBA. Bryan Colangelo reportedly was at a workout today the Sixers had with Grayson Allen and some other players. So he's still involved to this point. What they have to do is find out from the free agents, because Colangelo's very close with Rich Paul, who represents LeBron and Ben Simmons. If Rich Paul tells their ownership, which he's close to as well, and that, hey, LeBron's fine with Bryan. He knows it's a mistake, whatever. Or if they find out that Paul George ain't tripping over this, then you could keep him if you wanted to. And, of course, you have to talk to Embiid, too.
You know players ain't tripping on that.
But, sometimes it is a thing because, trust the process, right? Trust. I think it's all about trust, and I think trust goes out the window sometime when there's speculation that, someone has used the burner account or whatever the case may be, and I think everybody has to be on the same page, top to bottom. And if you having, information, very intimate information that's being breached and talked about on the social media platform, I think it's crazy. I think he ought to get ahead of it and control the narrative and say, you know what, I'm going to resign. I'm going to remove myself from this position, take the high road, and move forward.
See, that's a phenomenal point. Because Steven, listen. I know you're friends.
Because he would have done it already, probably.
Listen, it's been a week. Listen, when LeBron, everybody's speculating. Oh, where's LeBron going to go? Earlier this year, someone on a rival network reported that LeBron's considering a meeting with the Warriors. The next day, LeBron came out and said, "No, that's nonsense."
That was made up.
Okay, listen. If Colangelo is not involved in this, it's been a week. How has he not called a press conference and said, "Listen, I'm not involved with this. I got nothing to hide"?
Who defends themselves when they're not guilty?
What?
Hold on, I would. If I was accused of doing something like this, I would come out and be like,
I would. If I know I'm not guilty, let me ask you a question. Okay, they want to give you $200 million. I know you. You just as tough as I am. You stand on your morals. Words can't hurt you.
Exactly.
So you gonna turn down $200 million because you worrying about what the GM gonna say?
Absolutely.
Exactly, my point. Next question.
So Steven, hold on. They built up momentum all season.
If you were accused of
But words cannot hurt a player. That's not gonna stop a player from going there because
Joel Embiid was freaking out initially when this came out, dude.
Look who we talking about. Look who we talking about. A 7-footer who acts like he's 5'3".
This is Chris Broussard's favorite player.
That's the Grand Patrol guy.
He's an internet troll. He loves this type
so
of
you're
stuff.
telling
Here's the thing, Jack. You're right. If nobody's turning down 100, 200 million because of Bryan Colangelo or whatever. But if you have options, if LeBron, Paul George, they got other options. So I can get 200 here, 200 here, 200 there.
True.
Then that could come into play. I'm kind of with you in that. Look, find out from the guys you're chasing. First. If they're cool with it, they don't have a problem, and you like Bryan and you think he just made a mistake, then you could keep him.
Okay, so the Markelle Fultz angle to this, of course, the Twitter account was reporting that Fultz was working on his back in the gym. That's in-depth stuff that the public doesn't need to know. Fultz is already messed up in the head with what happened this year in Philly. Steve, come on. At some point, there's got to be accountability for who put this stuff out. And if he didn't do it, he's got to deny it.
Well, Bryan Colangelo is not the reason for Ben Simmons and both of their point guards not being able to shoot. I think that's more of a problem than anything.
You're really close with this
I'm just
guy. You
speaking
love
facts.
him.
I'm just speaking facts. Look, I've seen this situation too many
That's the
times
type of
in
guy
my
I wanted.
community.
That's the type of guy I wanted my quarter.
I've seen it too many times in my community. Just because people say you did it and you have no, and people get scrutinized for stuff that they didn't even do. You see every day people getting out of jail for 20 years for being arrested for stuff that they never did. Find out the facts, then put this man on trial.
Well, hopefully we'll get conclusion soon. Welcome back. Caron Butler, Stephen Jackson, and Chris Broussard are back. Let's return to the finals, which resume tonight in Cleveland. But let's be real, we're pretty much over when J.R. Smith forgot to score at the end of Game 1. Another finals loss won't be great news for LeBron, who's made it clear he's chasing Jordan's ghost. But guys, maybe LeBron and the rest of us have been comparing him to the wrong Hall of Famer this whole time. Because when you look at his finals record, are you ready for this? His career stacks up a lot more closely to Wilt Chamberlain's than Michael Jordan's. Caron, are you ready for this? Is LeBron's legacy closer to Wilt or Mr. Jordan?
Well, I think it has a lot of similarities. You're
Yes.
talking about the physical dominance and, his features and what he's been able to do in this era, been second to none. But, I think so many times in this space, right, we talk about guys that's present and current. So, who is Steph Curry going to be compared to, going forward? LeBron dominated this era. He has 3 championships already. Steph Curry's on the verge of getting his 3rd. So his legacy would be compared to him as the next great. And I think LeBron should be compared to Kobe as, a guy that already got 5 and has done some magnificent things instead of being compared to Michael and, further on. So that's where I stand with it.
He always working Kobe.
I just had to put that out there, man.
Tight. You guys are boys.
Put that out there. Bro.
Right now, at this point, yeah, he's more like Wilt. I mean, if he's gonna lose this finals, it'd be 3-6. Wilt's 2-4. That's the same exact percentage.
Win.
33%. Win.
When he lose.
Yeah, as I was gonna say, he's gonna lose. You're right. When he loses, individually, LeBron's gonna have all the records. I mean, most of the records individually in the playoffs and regular season. Wilt has had statistics that nobody will ever break. And here's the thing, they're both so physically dominant that they tend to do everything. Like Wilt, 50 points a game, 25 rebounds a game, was an assist guy as well when he wanted to. He did everything, and everything on his team ran through him. Same as LeBron. LeBron becomes the system wherever he goes. That's great. It makes your team really good. But when you face a team that plays together and moves the ball and is skilled, like San Antonio in 14, like Golden State now, one man, no matter how good you are, can't beat that. And Wilt ran up against it, and LeBron's run up against it.
Well, I think LeBron's just in the category zone, just like MJ. MJ's in the category zone. I honestly never expect anybody to pass MJ. Just in my mind, MJ's just a different category, and LeBron is too. We've never seen a guy like LeBron. Let's be honest. What player have we seen that's even close to LeBron? None. So I just put him in his own category, and I look at it like this. They're all great. This is greatness we're watching. Just let them all be great.
To further your point, Broussard, Wilt Chamberlain was 1-7 against the Celtics in the playoffs back in the day. Now we're seeing LeBron go up against the Warriors. He's about to be 1-3. And Caron, I really liked your comparison. Listen, we've seen some Jordan wannabes, right? Like Kobe kind of wanted to study Jordan closely. Vince Carter as well really studied Jordan closely. We're never going to see a LeBron.
Never.
You're just not going to. The guy's got the body of Karl Malone, the speed of John Wall. You're just not going to see that. It's like it's made in a lab or something.
I think we have to really, like Jack said, we have to appreciate what we're witnessing. And I thought the phrase and the slogan was great. He's the guy that came in with the most expectations. And, he's excelled and exceeded all expectations.
Every last one of them.
Every one. And I'm most proud just as a guy that's viewing the game and have played the game, but what he's done on the other side.
Yeah.
I said that yesterday.
Yeah. So, Broussard, the one thing I want to push back on, and I don't want to anger anybody, but listen, people only want to compare LeBron to Jordan. I don't think we're denigrating LeBron by comparing him to Wilt Chamberlain, who is an all-time great. He's a top 10 player all time.
Check the numbers.
Exactly. The guy, like you said, 50,
People have
25.
thought Wilt was the best player of all time.
Yeah.
Up until probably Jordan or Kareem, people said it was Wilt.
So anytime people, you reference LeBron to anybody other than Jordan, the social media crowd goes nuts. But I actually like this comparison a lot. I think, what they went up against, again, the Celtics for Wilt and now the Warriors for LeBron, I think there's a good comparison.
If LeBron doesn't win any more championships, Wilt will be the more appropriate comparison probably. But depending on where he goes or what happens, like you say, he's got 5-6 years left. What if he ends up with 5 or 6 rings? Then
possible.
Jordan is far more of a comparison than Wilt.
So we spent a lot of time behind the scenes. Wilt's iconic photo where he's holding up the sign, I scored 100 points. We were trying to think, how do you do it for LeBron? And, what sign would LeBron hold up? And we thought keeping it 100 for LeBron James. You like that?
That's dope. I like Will's other stat, though, the 20K.
All right.
That's my favorite stat. I got it. 20K.
Let's move on to Los Angeles, where the Lakers, the team I think LeBron is headed to, might have just gotten some good news. Broussard, don't be alarmed here. Woj is reporting that LeBron and Paul George are expected to discuss joining forces in LA next season. Obviously, LeBron's got a ton of options, Philly, Houston, what have you. But Broussard, I got to ask you, do you buy that he cares where Paul George is going next year?
Do you believe that, first of all?
Well, I don't know that that's a report. That's just Woj saying what we all know. Okay. Of course he's going to talk with Paul George. LeBron James is going to do his due diligence, okay? He always has. When he left Cleveland and went to Miami, he talked with Wade. He was trying to get Chris Bosh to go to Cleveland. So he's having all these conversations.
Yes.
When he left Miami and went to Cleveland, he talked to Kevin Love beforehand. Look, we're going to try to work this trade out. Will you stay long term? Because they wouldn't trade Wiggins if Love's going to be 1 year and I'm out.
Right.
So he worked all that. This will be part of his due diligence. Does he care where Paul George goes in general? Not really, but it's like L.A. I don't think LeBron would come to the Lakers by himself. So Paul George is the other big free agent. So he's going to talk to him and say, look, would you go there or would we both go there? He might even ask him, can we get you in Cleveland?
And Boogie. They need Boogie, too.
I wouldn't go anywhere by myself after seeing what happened in this run right here.
There you go.
And I think he's starting to realize that more so now than any. He's out there without another budding superstar, another guy that could put the ball on the floor more than three dribbles and create for himself or a teammate. So it's different, and I think he's seeing that, and he want to be paired with someone.
Yeah, because it was easier for him. He did a lot of work with Kyrie, but it's a lot of times where he didn't have it going. I can rely on this guy to hold it down.
Man.
Even in fourth quarters when I ain't got it going, get the ball to Kyrie, he'll take over.
Get us a
As you see, to win the championship, he hit that big shot on Steph. So he misses that, and as great as he is, you still want to play with great players.
All right, I think you nailed it, Karan. I got to point this out. So the Warriors with Kevin Durant in the playoffs are 26-3 against everybody that's not Houston. Houston pushed them to 7. And you know what they did, guys? Defensively, they were able to switch on everything. And you know what the key player was? The wing. P.J. Tucker, Trevor Ariza, coming off the bench, Luke Richard, Bob
They
Lute.
gooned the game
They
up.
can switch everything, and that's where Paul George factors in. Think about this. If you're LeBron, you got to guard Kevin Durant tonight. Okay, you got to chase him around and then score 40. You bring on Paul George. Paul George is guarding Durant. LeBron can now rest defensively on Draymond or Iguodala. So I think 1,000% LeBron is going to team up with Paul George wherever he goes.
Wait, if he goes to Philly, they're not teaming up.
Well,
I don't think Philly can get. If he goes to Houston, they're not teaming up.
well, if he goes to Houston, they've got
the
to
only place they
detonate
really
their
would go
team.
together would be the Lakers.
But again, Houston-
or if George went to Cleveland
Yeah,
somehow.
you guys have seen the numbers. Houston has to essentially blow up their team. All those wings that were valuable, Ariza, Eric Gordon, they got to get rid of them.
And they would.
Well, they
Yeah,
would, but
for
then
LeBron.
what do you have
Heartbeat.
left? I mean, I don't know. Again, you got 33-year-old Chris Paul who's hurt every postseason. Meanwhile, the Lakers, they can just afford 2 guys. You don't have to lose nobody. You got Ingram, Kuzma, Lonzo Ball.
Chris Paul, 33, but he did more than a lot of guys younger than him in the playoffs would ever
Well,
do.
until he got hurt, like
Yeah,
he does almost
yeah,
every year in
he's
the
a
playoffs.
dog,
So,
though.
Chris, are you officially ruling out Cleveland now that this Lakers report is out? We got Houston, Philly. Are you saying
I mean,
Cleveland?
I think Cleveland's a slim chance no matter what. Look, LeBron will do his due diligence. If Paul George is like, hey,
Let's
I'll
do
come
it.
to Cleveland, I mean, maybe he'd consider that. But I just think he's got a lot. Look, how much does he want to go to Philly? Philly stays in the East. That's one big advantage I think they have. And also, if they decide to get rid of Colangelo, Rich Paul, his agent, we said, is close with their ownership. LeBron likes control. They could be in a position to handpick whatever GM they want.
I think it's stages in every player career, no matter who you are. And looking at this stage of where he at, this is the back end, right? No signs of declining yet, but this is the next stage.
Right.
So he's thinking life after basketball, big picture, and what other city to be in to do that.
And I got to keep pointing this out, guys. I keep bringing this up. No team in the modern era has gone to the finals 5 years in a row. Okay, the Heat 4 years. Michael Jordan never did 5 straight. The Celtics, the Lakers.
Off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Warriors next year will be going for 5 straight. Stephen, they are going to be gassed. And if you got LeBron, Paul George, and a bunch of young guys on the Lakers, I really think the Lakers.
The Warriors will have to tweak it. Because mentally is going to be their biggest challenge.
They haven't even got to the point, the Warriors being they haven't even got to the point where they're making trades mid-season. They're intact, like, from the beginning, and they just, like, putting a demonstration on the association every year. Like, can't nobody affect them. Like, they haven't even got to
point,
they don't even have to tweak nothing.
Right? Boredom will be their biggest challenger. Boredom.
Well, you don't think the bench needs to be rebuilt, Karan, in Golden State?
They just signed Cook for 2 years.
I mean, JaVale McGee, Zaza, a lot of these guys are total non-factors.
You can bring them back for a little nothing.
They could put us 4 at the end of that bench.
All right,
We got action. We got action.
We got the leading scorer here. Welcome back, Caron Butler, Stephen Jackson, Chris Broussard are back. Let's move to my guy, Steph Curry. Fresh off a record-breaking 9 threes in Game 2. So maybe it's not that shocking that he's the overwhelming favorite to win Finals MVP. Steph's already changed the NBA, was the first unanimous MVP, and has set all kinds of shooting records. But his Finals performances have been a little bit of a knock on his resume. Not much. Broussard, what would a Finals MVP mean for Steph's legacy?
It would just be justification that I honestly think is unnecessary. But a lot of people, you know, they, like you said, they knock him. They say he doesn't show up in the finals. You and I agree. He should have been MVP in 2015.
Thanks.
Andre Iguodala was very good, but he was a role player. Steph averaged 26 points in that series. He 6 assists, 5 rebounds in the last 3 games, which were the pivotal ones. Because remember, they were down 2-1. The next 3 games, Steph averaged 27 points. He scored 28 points. Scored 37 in Game 5. Okay, he was great. And then last year, he almost averaged a triple-double. 27 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. KD was just so good that he got it. So I think the whole myth that Steph isn't good in the playoffs is ridiculous. But if he wins this, for those that like to hate, it would silence them.
I feel like he changed the game. Like, it's a guy that came on with the baby face and just killed you with the long ball, and he continues to do that. And you know, you cannot tell the story of basketball when you're breaking it down without mentioning Steph Curry and how he's impacted the game. So he's going to win another 2, 3, 4 championships. And, you know, he's just been amazing to watch, man, and I think he's the new face of the game going forward.
I hope he wins it because it's definitely something that he deserves because it was taken from him when Iguodala got it. But Steph is, to me, I put Steph in that box with AI, with LeBron, with Jordan, with guys who actually changed the game, like put their imprint on the game and actually changed it. Those guys, AI, he really changed the game. He brought a whole new look to the game, an urban look. You know, he made guys come from our area believe that we can make it and be ourselves. LeBron, he's just a professional's professional. Who don't love LeBron? Steph, he got everybody shooting threes. You go to these kids' games, everybody's shooting from half court now. So he's put his imprint on the game, but I really wish that he gets his Finals MVP because he deserves it.
So we're looking at a 4-year span where he's going to get 3 rings, 2 MVP awards, and a Finals MVP. For my money, I think this puts him as the 2nd best point guard in NBA history, behind Magic Johnson, of course. Now, I know there's people disputing, well, is he truly a point guard? But I think, guys, when you watch what Magic did for point guards, with being 6'9", there's never been a 6'9" point guard. I think Steph Curry's doing that for point guards now with the long ball, as you said, Caron, because he's just stretched the court. The geometry has changed. You know, the spacing. They've really changed basketball fundamentally. I just don't see how. I know Isaiah Thomas had a great career, and John Stockton, we discussed. Oscar Robertson was tremendous.
Should have started there.
Curry, as we talked about yesterday, listen, Curry has kind of interrupted LeBron's run over the league. I mean, when you talk 3 titles in 4 years, Caron, nobody did that when Michael Jordan was running the show in the 90s.
And that has to account for something. Like, look, LeBron is still the best player on the planet, but the guy that's been in his way, or the team of guys that have been in his way, led by this guy right here, Steph Curry, that has to account for something. And I think that he's in a field of his own. Like, he's special, He's unique. We haven't seen something like this off the dribble that can shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor. Turnover prone at times, but he's special. He's great. Just like LeBron. Haven't seen no one at that size, move, speed, agility. He's just unique in his own right.
And then, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off, but then this is what I like about Steph, too. You know, when KD went there, a lot of people stopped talking about Steph, Steph is not that good. But you see Game 7, they don't get out of West Conference Finals without Steph.
Yep.
These first 2 games in these finals, who's been the best player? Stephen Curry. So I'm glad that he's playing well because a lot of people took a lot of his game away when KD got. He kind of got overshadowed a little bit.
Well, I was saying if KD hadn't gone there, and this is a big if Steph had remained healthy, because physically I don't know if he could have withstood the pounding, but if he would have, and say had maybe a 6-year run, like those 2 MVP years, not winning MVP every year, but just 6 years at that level,
right,
we'd be talking about him at an even, maybe people top 5 player of all time, because you're right, the way he's changed the game. The battle for him in terms of all-time point guards will be Isaiah Thomas. Because Isaiah Thomas is the one guy alive that can say, I beat Magic
Jordan
in his prime, Michael in his prime, and Bird in his prime.
Yeah.
And Isaiah didn't really have Kareem and McHale, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chris, you got to say that again for Zeke, man. Who he beat in his prime? Hey, Zeke,
Magic.
I got you.
Well, you know the first person to tell me that was Zeke.
We just echoing Zeke right there.
Good. I'm
He
glad you
knows.
brought up Isaiah Thomas because he ran into problems with Michael Jordan. Remember Michael Jordan versus Isaiah?
Well, he was
the freeze
beating
out.
on Michael Jordan, too.
But at the same time, now maybe Karan and Steph, you could speak to this. We've seen Charles Barkley take shots at Steph Curry. We've seen LeBron push him. We've seen Russell Westbrook not really give him the respect. What is it about Curry that angers these guys so much? Is it because he's a below-the-rim player in an above-the-rim league? Is that?
I'm finna sum it up. It's the Tim Duncan factor. You can say what you want. You can poke at me. You can talk about me. You can say none of that bothers me. I know I'm great on this court, and this is why I'm gonna show you I'm great. None of that other stuff matters. He was raised right. Daddy played in the league. Has a great mom. None of that matters. He has a strong faith in God, and he's a strong family kid. You can say whatever you want about him. I know I can play this game, and that's why I'm going to shut you up at.
Babyface assassin, man. You know, it's just crazy to see a guy that, he don't look like he should be doing this to me. Like,
Well,
you take that
them
personal.
light-skinned brothers can hoop.
He getting tough
Albie
about it.
Shore, man. He's an Albie Shore to NBA, baby.
Oh, boy.
I will say this, though,
on your
a
own,
legitimate
girl.
thing, and you guys know, you talk to players, a lot of guys, though, don't like that he doesn't take the defensive challenge.
Right.
You know, like Chris Paul's going to guard the best point guard and score on him, too. And I've heard guys say the fact that Steph won't do, and they might not be Steph's fault. I mean, Steve Kerr is making the matchups, but that is something that kind of rubs guys.
But
They didn't make no excuse for Steve Nash, so I don't want to hear that. They didn't make no excuse for Steve Nash,
Yes, thank
and
you.
he shouldn't have won both of them. Kobe should have won both of them.
Kawhi Leonard and Greg Popovich will sit down before the draft and try to work their relationship out. After things turned ugly over how the team handled or mishandled Kawhi's injury this year, including Pop having Spurs vets call out Kawhi in the media. Ouch. Steven, former Spurs player, should Kawhi want out of San Antonio?
One thing I know about San Antonio is a situation that never get bad where Pop can't fix it. I think Kawhi understands the opportunity that Pop gave him. Look, when Tim leave, I'm giving you the keys to this organization, this championship organization. Kawhi's one of those kids that wants to be great. He wants to go down as one of the best players ever. That's all he thinks about. That's all he talks about. He's in a great situation in San Antonio. A lot of stuff that was blown up last year from the media is because we're not used to having players talk about each other in the San Antonio organization. We're not used to hearing stuff that's not positive come out that organization. Well, it happened this year because this is the first star that Pop can't control, okay? He's been able to control Tony, Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. He can't control the mind, the thinking of Kawhi Leonard. Now, let me say this. When Pop sits down with Kawhi and put that Supermax on that table, it's going to be a different conversation. And I know Kawhi, I know he wants to be on a winning organization, and I know he wants his big contract. When they have that conversation, I think Pop will fix it, and Kawhi still be a Spur.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to offer him the Supermax, and like you said, Pop will sit down with him. There's some fences that need to be mended.
No question.
He can mend them. And for Kawhi, who's a quiet guy, doesn't want a lot of media attention as far as talking every day, what better place than San Antonio? You go to New York, L.A., somewhere, the media's going to be in your face every day, and you're going to have to deal with that. And here's the thing, too. I'm not saying Kawhi wouldn't be great anywhere, because he's obviously one of the top players in the league. But there have been great players Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, who went somewhere else and wanted to go somewhere else, and the grass wasn't greener.
Didn't work out.
For Dwight, I think it ruined his career leaving Orlando. So you got to be careful.
I think camaraderie is so important, and like we all played on numerous teams, but the one thing that we have in common, when you're a part of a championship team and you have that history, it's nothing that you can't come back from because you're connected forever.
Right.
So I think that they can revisit those moments, and once you sit down with Pop face to face, along with 200 and some million
Right.
on the table, say, look, man, I'm sorry, but here you go, and here's the key. And it's like, all right, cool, I'm cool, I'm okay with
Remember
that.
2014?
Yeah, man, I love you, man, I'm sorry.
So the Spurs can offer him $80 million more than anyone else. There's $80 million, a lot of, the dollars make sense.
In
when
what
it's
state?
$80 million more.
Right,
Texas,
right,
I believe. Yeah.
Texas?
So, I'm not sure of the tax
Okay.
situation. Maybe you
know.
guys.
Oh,
I
you
know
sure?
the
You
tax
sure?
situation.
You said it makes
But
sense.
that makes it a lot more.
I got to ask this. Okay, there's rumblings that, how tough is Kawhi? He's never played 82. I think he's played 82 games maybe once. He's, 75 or fewer games often. He didn't really want to come back this year. Now we've got the family member who's allegedly involved in working with Kawhi. Popovich took direct shots, like his people. I don't think it's going to be as easy as, hey, here's $200 million, you coming on board. I don't do, or the Spurs for sure are going to say, boy, we definitely want this guy after what just went down. I'm not so certain.
Of course, he's a part of that family. This is a family organization. Nothing on the outside.
Okay, fine, Steven, let me interrupt then. You said family. Did Tony Parker treat him like family this year when he went to the media and chirped? Oh, yeah, I came back from the injury.
Well, hold
What about
on.
Manu Ginobili?
But let me say this.
It
Yeah, he
didn't
treated
feel
him like
family.
family.
That didn't come from Tony and Ginobili.
It's not a family.
It came from, no, it's a family. It came from up top. When your son do something, you don't sit him down?
Yeah, I spank him.
Right, okay. Pop can't spank
happens.
Kawhi. Okay? All you can do is sit down and try to get through him through other players. Now, that's the reason why I bothered Kawhi, because San Antonio don't do that. You don't send players to have seat minutes. You don't send players to degrade other teammates in the media. You don't do that. So that's what bothered him. The players coming to him, that didn't bother him. Tim went to him all the time. These are the veteran players of this team, the champions of this team. So they have the right to talk to younger players, but when you do it in a demeaning way, a shocking way, with something that's unusual to him, when he's the star player, yeah,
Okay, so how do you get over that in 5 months?
$200 million.
200 million, and you move forward like that. I mean,
200
look,
million.
I had the drunk uncle in my family that always went at me. You know what I'm saying? That didn't bother me. It's like
He loved you more than anybody.
I know he loved me. That's
Right.
family stuff. And I appreciate him trying to help me be a better version of myself. So it's cool. You move past that stage.
And see, what y'all don't understand is Pop has, even to me, Pop has been like a father figure to me. So Pop is just not a coach there with Kawhi. He honestly cares about this kid. So I think, to the outside, it's my basketball, but I think it's bigger than basketball. They have a real relationship, and I know Pop can fix that.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by longtime NFL coach Rob Ryan. Let's move to the NFL, where the Super Bowl champion Eagles and the leader of the free world have been going at it this week after President Trump canceled the team's planned celebration at the White House when he found out the team was only sending a handful of players and the mascot. The Eagles responded today with Malcolm Jenkins taking a page out of the great movie Love Actually, holding up signs to get his point across. Meanwhile, Coach Doug Peterson tried to downplay the entire situation.
I was looking forward to going down, obviously. We did something last season that was very special. It's a milestone here in the city of Philadelphia, our organization, and I was looking forward to going down and being recognized as world champions.
But Coach, they accused you yesterday at the White House.
That's fine. No, I'm not discussing it. It's over. What you've seen and what you've heard is enough. And I'm not discussing. I'm not going to stand here and discuss it because we got 2 OTA practices. I got a mandatory camp next week, and I'm focused on that.
Do you feel like you had to address this whole situation with your players in a team meeting?
No. I mean, listen, it's no.
Trying to cut out the distractions, whether it's this or anything else that's set out there. Is it relying on the veteran leadership? Is it something from you? How do you cut out the distractions?
The way I cut it out is I focus on today. I come in here with energy, sit in front of the team, and say we got a great day, practice coming up, and we're gonna make the most, and we're gonna get better as a football team today. And for me, that eliminates any distraction.
Wow, I kind of like that, Rob. Do you think distractions will derail the Eagles season?
No, thank God they're just worried about playing football.
Yeah,
this other
seriously.
stuff just drives me nuts. I think it's great. I think It's the right attitude to have. You've got a whole season where now you're the defending champs. It's tough. Everybody's going to give you their best shot. And look, they have their own situation. They've got two really good quarterbacks. That's a great thing. They've had a couple great defensive linemen, but they're going to need all of that to repeat as champions. Look, that league is really tough. I mean, Washington, Alex Smith is a winner. And that makes them better. He is. He's an excellent quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
And you got Dallas in there, and you got the Giants who are much improved. They finally got some people around Eli to protect them. They got a great back. They've got great receivers. So it's going to be a heck of a deal just to get out of their league. So the more they can put this other crazy stuff behind them, play football, it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, I do feel like some of the anthem stuff's overblown. Early in last season, it was a huge story. Second half of the season, not as much. Playoffs, nobody talked about it. But I will say this, the Eagles did sign Michael Bennett in the offseason, Rob. We know he's a little outspoken. I have mild concern about that if things don't go well for the Eagles, who are playing a first-place schedule.
Well, I mean, the one thing with Michael Bennett, he's a terrific football player, so they've added a great player. You know, look, the distractions of that, the anthem stuff and all that, I mean, shoot. Nobody's done more for social awareness than the NFL has with the players, Malcolm Jenkins and Anquan Bolden going up to the owners, over $100 million donated. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, you compare that to any other league, the NBA or whatever it is. Steve Kerr sits there taking runs at the NFL. What a joke that is. I mean, they have a player of their own have some issues with the policeman. I haven't heard one thing where they back him or whatever. So, mind your own business. The NFL is what it is, and it's a great league.
All right, to Pittsburgh, where Antonio Brown's letting it fly on social media yet again. This time taking to Instagram with a cryptic message calling out Coach Mike Tomlin over a benching that apparently happened all the way back when Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator. Wrote Antonio Brown, hope you're ready for this one. Bruce Arians said he's a special team guy. He can't learn the plays, hots and sights. Not smart enough. Coach T benched me on a bye week. Said 2 dogs, 1 bone. God bless him. Hashtag put some respect on my name. Rob, do you have any issue at all with Antonio Brown taking this to social media?
Well, first of all, I think I was the defensive coordinator in Cleveland when Arians was the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. But that's been a long time ago. I'm sure he understands how to run a sight adjust now. But
well, wait, for everybody out there, what is that?
Yeah. Well, it's a sight adjust. If a guy blitzes, you got to break your route off and things like that and run hots, when there's nobody for the protection.
Rob, why is he remembering this from 7 years ago?
I think it's hilarious. And look, that's why I don't have any of this social media, although I'm sure I'd have lots of fans out there. But, Facebook, I don't know any of it. Snapchat.
You're not missing much.
No, apparently not, but my kids are on it.
Yes.
But it is funny. But, coaches have enough on their plate. You don't need to come back, rehash stuff that, taking runs at coaches. I don't get it. He's a star player. He doesn't need to do that.
Listen,
he's fun to watch. This kid is
Rob,
really special.
This is the Pittsburgh offseason. Antonio Brown on Instagram chirping, Le'Veon Bell holding out.
Oh, that's true.
And Ben Roethlisberger basically saying, I don't want to tutor the quarterback you guys drafted. I mean, I got
a couple good points.
100% honest here. They just got rid of their offensive coordinator. Okay?
Right, Todd Haley, yep.
You know who's next if they don't go to like a Super Bowl trip this year, right? It's not going to be Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Mike Tomlin's been a fantastic coach, and look, that organization's awfully stable. So I don't see it. I think it's just kind of weird, like you say, it's status quo for the Steelers.
But it's their 3 biggest stars freaking out in the offseason.
It's strange, but. At least Antonio Brown was encouraging Bell to come back.
All right, you want to take solace in that? Fine. To New England, where Tom Brady is back at camp with the Patriots. But apparently it didn't take long for Bill Belichick to light him up, with the coach reportedly directing an expletive-laden rant at the offense before making them run some laps after a mistake yesterday. Afterward, Brady did not speak to the media. Rob, obviously, this is a massive deal, right?
Massive deal. When I was there my first years, way back when Brady was a rookie, so what's that, 18 years ago, I was coaching linebackers, and that was tough. When a defense would have a bad day, Belichick would get tired of watching and say, send everybody on a lap, and that included coaches. So that this happened. I'm sure McDaniels is doing a much better job of keeping up with the rest of the pack as I was, battling those guys like Ted Washington and things like that. But it's something he's always done, so this is nothing new for Bill Belichick or Tom Brady.
So outsiders should not be like, boy, what a passive-aggressive move from Bill.
Absolutely
You know,
not.
Tom doesn't show up last week. Now he's making them all run laps. I'm not directing it at Tom, but just in general, run, guys. I'm in control. You don't think there's any of that at all?
I don't think so. I think the whistle's turning. He got tired of looking at a couple mistakes in a row and probably some simple things that he didn't like. And hey, why not get after those guys? You got Gronkowski there, Brady, and and Josh and all of them. I mean, look, they hung up 505 yards. That wasn't enough, so they needed 525. So
the defense
I
could have
don't
showed
know.
up maybe. And
Yeah,
got
maybe.
Welcome back. Chris Broussard is here for Last Call. Let's move to Houston, where reportedly Chris Paul will not take a discount to stay with the Rockets, despite the fact he's getting older and just went way deeper in the playoffs than he's ever been before. Broussard, should CP3 take a pay cut?
Not in terms of years. I mean, I'm sorry, not in terms of money, but in terms of years, yes. If I'm Houston, he's 33 years old, he's injury prone, he missed the two most important games of the playoffs, 6 and 7. I offer him 3 years at the max. 3 years at the max, but I can't go to 5 years.
But he's going to view that as a pay cut because he needs that 5-year max deal.
In that case, he's not getting it anywhere else. And look, he sacrificed a lot. He left 4 years, $175 million on the table to play out his last year. I'm sure there had to be a wink, wink. We'll hook you up with the max in the future.
Well, listen,
but
you
come
don't
on.
beat the Warriors with wink, wink, we'll hook you up in the future. I mean, I will say he made the right move leaving L.A., obviously, right? I mean, listen,
Well-
they just went to the conference finals, Game 7. So he wasn't doing that with the Clippers. All right, to the finals.
So he should take a pay cut or what?
Heck yes! To the finals, where LeBron and the Cavs are back in Cleveland for Game 3. But Steve Kerr says there's a good chance the Warriors will get Andre Iguodala back tonight. Broussard, you're giving the Cavs any chance at all tonight.
Yes, you got the best player in the world. You've beaten them
Okay.
before with Andre Iguodala. You beat him in a series with Andre Iguodala.
Oh,
You've
come
beaten
on.
them games.
We're not
Last
even
year
counting.
they won a game with Andre Iguodala. So
Post Kevin
you're
Durant.
giving them no chance.
No chance. None.
No
Post
chance.
Kevin Durant, LeBron.
You know how disrespectful that is to LeBron
It's not to
James?
LeBron, it's to J.R. Smith and Jordan
That is
Clarkson
incredibly
and your boy
disrespectful.
Tristan Thompson.
Look, would
where I'm
them
disrespecting.
losing shock me? No. Okay? But I picked Golden State in 5, and I feel good
Put a percentage on
about
it.
my prediction.
Percentage on the Cavs' chances to win tonight.
I
firm.
feel good about
Wait, what is that,
I'm telling
8%?
you, I'm saying Cavs will win tonight.
Wow.
Cavs
You know,
will win
they're
tonight.
4-point underdogs at home.
Fine.
Iguodala coming back.
Cavs will win
Broussard,
tonight.
man.
I'm not saying they're
This
going
guy's
to even
from
up.
Ohio,
I wish,
just so you
I
guys
wish
know.
they would even it up. Then we'd have a series, but they will win tonight.
Enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow.